So, something interesting happened the other day with Mythic Talent. So, if you're not really familiar with who Mythic Talent is, they are a talent agency that pretty much just helps channels get sponsors and helps protect their IP. Now, they do a few other things as well, but those are just the general gist of it. But they're in some hot water lately for a few different reasons. One of those being, they got rid of Asmongold, who is one of the co-owners of the company. And when they did, they released this statement. We've spoke with Asmongold and mutually agreed to part ways. Mythic represents creators from a wide range of backgrounds and perspectives, and we are committed to fostering an environment grounded in respect and responsibility. We remain focused on supporting our creators and continuing our mission to help them build sustainable long-term careers. Now, alright, makes sense. You see this though. They locked the replies, because they knew they were going to get flamed for this. Because they kind of dropped this out of nowhere. At least, you'd think they did. The split all started with Caseytron, of all people. Now, I know some of you heard that name and just rolled your eyes, because, oh god, this bitch again. Yeah, so local internet stoner Caseytron made a little call-out post. Here's a list of all the brands and creators that are partnered with Asmongold talent agency Mythic Talent. Why they would want to be represented by someone who cheers for death every day is beyond me. Should probably start asking them, with two links here. One to their creator page, as you see here, has a different creators, and another one to the brands that work with Mythic. Pretty much saying, hey guys, I want you to all go ahead and brigade these people for working under Mythic Talent. I want you to brigade these people for making money, because my poor broke ass doesn't have enough to spend on weed anymore. And I'm salty about it. And then link the brands to try to get the brands to drop Mythic for, working with Asmon. All started because war with Iran, him changing his opinion because, well, the circumstances changed. I know, crazy. People's opinions change. But she's been on whole brigade about Asmongold for God knows how long at this point, so no one's surprised, really. Now, I chimed in here. Go follow me on Twitter, by the way. I tend to be funny sometimes. Congratulations to Mythic for showing that they could be bossed around by a hate mob and actually do not care about the creators they're partnered with, which I still stand by. Considering it was a small hate mob that just started going after them, so like, ah shit, we gotta drop Asmon. These retards on the internet are mad at us. So they kind of fucked himself over there. But there's been some speculation that there's actually other reasons behind it. This post has been going pretty viral lately. If we take a little peek here, 400,000 views. Talent's leaving Mythic slowly. Grimmi comes out with her accounts on sponsorship cuts, which we will be talking about just here in a moment. Gets a majority payment out of the sponsor, while Mythic gets a cut for negotiating. Grimmi later calls sponsor and finds out the real offer was higher. Mythic skimmed extra without saying shit, and they already took more than the agreed 20%, which 20% does tend to be pretty average, I have found, when it comes to talent agencies, because they do help you get the sponsorship deals in the first place, so it's how they actually make money and continue as a company. She alleges black company behavior and tells other talents to demand their own sponsorship docs, while confronting Mythic gets, oopsie, typo, and then refused to show the full sponsor contract. Next day, Asmongold dips and Mythic drops a PR tweet for their sponsors, with the Mythic post about Asmon. Now, what do I think about all of this right here? I think it has a mix to do with both things, where Mythic started to get flamed about that, and then they also were getting flamed by Caseytron's community. Caseytron's community is funny to say, she doesn't have one. Hassan's community. And so they just said, alright, let's drop Asmongold. Let's get ourselves out of hot water here. But I don't think they predicted that it would put them in even more hot water. Now, I've seen a similar opinion to mine, where I'm like, yeah, they're bending the knee. Posted many times, like here we have, they just gave a weapon for Madman to use against every single one of their talents. I wouldn't be surprised. During the whole Caseytron brigade, I've seen other people get attacked as well, just for working under Mythic. And she has talked about that, oh yeah, if you're under Mythic Talent, you're a horrible person. But what I personally think is pretty funny is her whole thing with, oh yeah, if you work for this company, you're a Nazi. You're an alt-right grifter. You're selling yourself to the alt-right. Well, there's a company called Night Media, and the thing with them, they sponsor Asmongold. But they also sponsor Hassan, Diddy, Adolf, Epstein, Osama bin Laden, Baby Oil Piker, and many people that agree with Hassan. Huh, isn't that quite interesting? You don't have to align with the same politics as the company that sponsors you. It's almost like they don't fucking care. They only care if they get hate for it. Now, with the whole thing with them locking replies, which I find kind of funny that they did, kind of shows, oh, please don't criticize us. I've seen people also talk about that as well. Listen, if you're going to make a statement like this, don't lock replies. I'm speaking purely from a PR perspective. Locking replies makes it seem like you know you'll have backlash and are afraid to face it, which they in fact did. If we go to their next post here, which we'll cover in just a moment. You see, everyone can't believe y'all would bend the knee. Turning off replies on the Asmon post was a bitch move. To be honest, Asmongold separating from y'all is a PR move for him, which we'll cover in just a moment, because that's just as important. But back to this one. Blocking replies makes it seem like you have backlash and are afraid to face it. If you have a hot take or make a bold decision, you should be ready to face the heat, especially as a company. Or if you predict that it'll go over bad, maybe not say anything at all. But locking replies, hiding away, that makes you worse than a company with controversial action. It makes you a coward. Now, as the next post I was just talking about a moment ago, this is where we switch from the Asmon part to the VTuber, Grimmi. Mythic is aware of public statements made by former talent Grimmi regarding payment disparities. We take her allegations seriously and have conducted a thorough review of our record. Now, if you're not sure what those allegations are, I found a post that covers it pretty damn well. Mythic Talent Agency alleged to have skimmed money off the top of a sponsor, shorting their talent. This happened to the VTuber Grimmi. I didn't want to blast her name in the title because she's already nervous about this, but feels she needs to spread the word. At the moment, there aren't any clips of this because it's only a few hours old, although I'm sure some will eventually appear. And it pretty much just goes on like, blah blah blah. If you don't know her character, she's honest to a fault and truly tries to see the best in everyone all the time. So Grimmi personally befriended a game publisher that had previously sponsored her before, and through speaking to them, discovered that there was a small disparity multiple times between what was a negotiated amount versus what she would actually be paid by the sponsors. The negotiations are done between Mythic and the publisher. Talents do not see those documents or conversations. Also, for what I know, it's pretty common. The talent agency handles everything with the sponsorships, and then you just reap the benefits. So here we have a little image to go along with that first statement from Mythic. The first image here, we have a message between Grimmi and I'm guessing whoever her manager is at Mythic. It pretty much just says 1 2-hour Twitch stream, overlay chatbot pinned comment, timeline, and then the offer is 2,000 minus the 20%, so 1,600. Grimmi goes, would it be possible to get the completed signed by both parties contract for this? Their manager goes, got the contract, our systems state that it's actually 2,100 versus 2,000, so I dug into what happened. It was a typo with the brand, so it was resolved between our sales team and their sales team. We're always going to get the proper amount, just the information didn't quite reach me, which is obviously still an issue. Bit weird they didn't know about it until about 3 months later. But back to this post. The outcome of the negotiations were that she would be paid 2,100. However, the contract she received from Mythic and signed was for 2,000, 5% difference, which isn't a lot, but you're still getting fucked out of like $100. The publisher gave her proof that they paid 2,100 to Mythic, bottom bit, and then Mythic sent her the 2,000 she was expecting from the contract. When she alerted Mythic after finding out from the publisher, they told her it was a typo on the publisher's end, and then she was given the additional 100. But that's not the only instance. Second instance here, 4-hour stream, timeline, I'm assuming it's her manager again from this post, offer $4,000, 20% cut that Mythic takes. In reality though, Mythic was paid $4,400. Now this is a lot more money. This isn't just quite a little typo here. We're talking about $400. We're talking about a whole PlayStation or a whole Xbox here. The outcome was 4,400, but she was told it was 4,000, 10% difference. The excuse Mythic gave was that it was an additional fee because of an outside marketing agency. However, it was the exact same people negotiating at both times through the same emails, which makes that very unlikely. There was also some odd mix-up with the length. The publisher said 2 hours, but Grimmi was told 4. The key things here are 1, Mythic refused to show her the negotiation documents between Mythic and the publishers, and after she requested them, only the contract that she signed, and 2, she had many more examples of this behavior, and I believe from multiple publishers, but this was the only publisher she gave her permission to show evidence of the stream and publicize. These are not the only incidences, which is pretty damn important if it's not the only. I'd love to see more people's accounts, because I doubt she is the only creator that has had this issue. But the rest of this post just kind of goes on to reiterate the same point. So, what was Mythic's statement? We already read the first part here. The claims that Mythic skimmed funds from her 2 campaigns are factually incorrect. We just found out that, well, I actually did. Even if it was intentional or not, our records indicate that the Grimmi was paid in full for both cited activations, her contract terms, and according to the terms of her talent agreement. which includes an agreed-upon management fee. The campaigns were valued at 2,100 and 4,400 respectively. In the first campaign, Grimmi was sent the full value of 2,100 activation, less our agreed-upon management fee, less any potential banking transactions fees on her end, blah blah blah. In the second campaign, Grimmi received the full 4,400 for the campaign, less our management fee, same shit. Both of these payments were made within days of receiving payment from the brand. Had Mythic skimmed the $100 and $400 amount alleged by Grimmi, her payouts would have been significantly lower. Our payment platforms logs every transaction, and these figures are available for independent verification via her bank statements and our portal. If any payments inconsistencies have taken place, or our figures above are incorrect, we encourage Grimmi to provide us with inconsistencies so we may redeem them. Well, question is here, where is your proof? While we attempted to reach Grimmi to clarify her grievances, she chose to make these claims public before dialogue could occur. We have sent Grimmi the banking logs. Mind you, this is over 3 months, at least for the first one. We have sent Grimmi the banking logs, contracts, invoices, and payment records receipts for these campaigns, and we remain open to reviewing any documentation that contradicts them. We understand that miscommunications can and do happen, and that we certainly not immune to them. Mythic remains committed to the transparency and the success of our creators, and will continue to foster an environment built on mutual respect and professional integrity. So, this really just reads off as, hey guys, we investigated ourselves, and we found out we did nothing wrong. But seriously, where is any proof of this? You say, oh yeah, we sent the proof over to her, but you guys can't show even the slightest thing that a transaction did happen at the correct amount? You don't have to give out her bank details. You can simply just show that, hey, look, the 4,400 and the 2,100 were sent. But apparently, that's too difficult to do. I feel like this post summarizes my thoughts pretty damn accurately, so we're going to read it off as it's a bit better articulated than I could probably do, just rambling off the top of my head. Mythic Talent's released a response to Grimmi, and I feel its vagueness is intentional and leaves questions with its wording. Mythic claims transparency, yet state they paid her less our agreed upon management fee, confirming a deduction was made but never disclosed the rate. While there may be reasons for this lack of disclosure, it leaves ambiguity unless either party decides to relay that agreed upon deductions. They also argue her payout would have been significantly lower had the skim occurred, but an undisclosed or miscommunicated rate fee would produce that same result. Lastly, the campaigns were valued at 2,100 and 4,100, which is an interesting word choice that I think implies the campaigns were not paid at those amounts, which, yeah, I could see that. They're valued at it, but doesn't mean we're going to give you that. Doesn't mean we're not going to just take a little bit of that. Put our hand in the cookie jar. That said, it is worth asking what she was actually told up front and that the sponsors actually paid. A miscommunication is very plausible to have happened here, though I also think it's possible that their stated value of the campaign doesn't align with what the sponsor actually paid, which of course a previously agreed upon deduction for the management fee. Now yeah, sure, it definitely is possible that, okay, it was just a typo. We actually meant to say 2,100, but at the moment we just had the wrong number. Or just a slight typo. Simple as that. Very plausible. But the fact that it happened twice, and allegedly more times than that, doesn't give them the best benefit of the doubt. Now, at the end of the day, both of these are very corporate-like responses, pretty much Mythic just trying to cover their back. See, this currently reminds me a lot of Machinima, and also the Shoujo. As in both of those cases, the amount of pay that the creators were actually getting were not what they should have been. They should have been a lot higher, and they were also kind of getting fucked over with sponsors. Now, I'm not saying Mythic Talent is like VShoujo, or is like Machinima, but it is starting to kind of go down those timelines. So hopefully we get a proper statement from either Mythic Talent, or Asmon comes out and talks about this, Grimmi comes out and talks about this, or one of their other creators that previously worked with them talks about it. As this is not the first time Mythic has done stuff like this, where they just kind of cut off creators. Apparently, Mythic doesn't really have the best communication team. Here we have a post from Straub. Looking back, I'm honestly grateful Mythic Talent basically ghosted me and Rev, says Desu, back in 2024. Still never got a reply after my message, by the way. I would not want to be dealing with all of this right now, talking about the whole recent situation. So most likely in this conversation, they're talking to their manager in Mythic Talent. Hello, Straub waves back. Nice to meet you. I have a chain of meetings coming up, but I'll take a look after, so communication may be a bit slower. We look forward to hearing back whenever you're able. A few weeks later. Hi, I hope you're doing well. Just poking you to check back and follow up. A little over 2 weeks later. Hi there, we just wanted to follow up on our application of Mythic Talent. We understand things can be busy. If there's any update or timeline you could share, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, this is over a month. Finally gets back a few weeks later. Hello, Straub, sorry for the delay here. For whatever reason, didn't get the notification on the last ping. I'm getting ready to travel for the next few days, but I set a reminder for Wednesday when I'm back to follow up our conversation here. Thank you, sounds great, we'll be here. So, about a week later, hey Straub, just got back from my trip, I was a bit delayed coming back, so we'll be checking on this in a week. About a month later, about 3 weeks or so, after much consideration, both Rev and I have decided to respectfully withdraw our interest in joining Mythic. So this is about over the span of 3 months, as it started in September. The 13th of September was the first contact, and they decided to withdraw on December 3rd. After much consideration, both Rev and I have decided to respectfully withdraw our interest in joining Mythic Talent, unfortunately due to the prolonged delay in receiving the necessary information and the lack of follow-up to discuss the next steps. We no longer feel that moving forward would be the best decision for us. We hope you understand. Pretty reasonable statement there. Straub then follows up, I was disappointed back then, I can't lie, but after trying for multiple months to get them to do what they said they would do, including messages with whoever ran their Twitter account a couple times as well, it was just clear they were not handling things well. Bullet dodged. With all that being said, I will keep updating you on the situation, whether it be through tweets, short form content, or if it gets really interesting and either Asmongold responds, Mythic puts out another post, Grimmi comes out with more proof for her claims, or possibly even other talents that worked with Mythic or currently work with Mythic come out with new statements as well, with proof. I'm not going to cover it if it's just allegations, unless there's a lot of them, then we might cover it. But if there's actual proof that malice has been done, I will be covering it again in video. With all that being said though, thank you for staying to the end. If you did, most likely means you enjoyed it, or are interested to see a follow-up, so please comment down below, let me know what you thought of the whole situation, where you think it might go, anything I may have missed, any other drama you may want me to cover, as there's constantly drama going on all around the internet and in the VTuber space, which I have seen a lot of, and I am kinda interested to cover some of it that I have seen. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, as I do plan to be posting every few days or so. With everything being said though, thank you for watching to the end, I hope y'all have an amazing day, and I'll see y'all next time.